What's up, everybody? Josh or Miho here. I hope everybody's doing good and well and stuff. I got an album review to do for you, and I'm going to show it to you right now. This is the debut album from the band Caladan Brood entitled Echoes of Battle. This is released on Northern Silence Productions. Now, if you're not too familiar with this band, they are based out of Salt Lake City, Utah, and the best way to describe the sound of this band would be a very atmospheric, epic, and cinematic style of black metal. Think, if you will, a black metal themed version of a Lord of the Rings movie or novel, so to speak. I really hadn't heard too much of this band's album until I decided to see a review that was done by my very good friend Luke Hammerheart. Yeah, go support Luke Hammerheart if you haven't, by the way. He's a great dude. He did a review. He was basically going on and on about how much he loved this album, how all the details of everything. And as soon as I saw other reviewers give this album exposure and talk about it, I pretty much decided to finally give this album a shot, look it up, and see what the fuss is about. This is a black metal band that has a very unique type of concept to them. They're a two-piece. And the lyrical themes of this band are based upon a series of books entitled Malazan Book of the Fallen. Very widely respected series of fantasy books that kind of has a similar theme and vibe to J.R.R. Tolkien's Lord of the Rings trilogy, or his certain works. Not similar, but completely different type of stories. I think this is a 10-book long affair. I mean, there's a lot of stuff and ground to be covered with those books. And as far as what the musical style is concerned, I heard everyone say that this band is basically summoning worship. Of course, Summoning are from Austria, and they are one of the most well-respected bands within epic and cinematic black metal. Makes you feel like you're listening to a story being told and weaved out. Now, after seeing the reviews and doing the research as best as I could, and listening to this album for as much as I could, here we are. We're here with Echoes of Battle. It's 6 tracks, and it clocks in at around 71 minutes in length. And the length of this album should pretty much give you the hint that this isn't anything that you're supposed to skip past or fly by. You really have to sit down, put your headphones on. If you have a really good speaker system, you should really sit down and let this entire album engulf you and welcome you into its vast landscapes and worlds. And as soon as you hear the instrumentation on the opening track, City of Azure Fire, and all the way through, you realize what this band is all about and the kind of potential they could possibly have for future albums and releases. This is just some beautiful, beautiful stuff. Beneath the beauty also lies some incredible heaviness, and I'm really looking forward to hearing more from this band very soon, and hopefully this band will get better exposure. I'll get to why I say that in just a moment, but let's get right on into the music. The guitar work on here is just so splendid. I mean, the guitar work definitely, like the album itself, weaves many different stories and tales. I'm just loving the way the riffs are, the leads, the tremolos, the picking. Everything that you hear from the guitar sounds great. Definitely not something that rushes itself. It definitely takes its time, definitely methodical in its steps. But the riffs are great. The solos are even more awesome. I want to say on the track Wild Autumn Wind, there's some beautiful soloing going on with that particular track. I definitely love the way the solos are incorporated on that song. It's like a 13.5-minute song, and yet the way the guitar definitely builds itself is just fantastic. It's a very what's the word I'm looking for here? It's a top-tier type of guitar playing. Very leveled out. It takes its time, but yet you get a great payoff with the guitar here. I want to think there's bass guitar on this as well, because I listened to this with headphones multiple times, and I think it is there, but more likely than anything, this is a guitar-driven type of a record. You hear the guitar more than anything else, and I don't really see anything wrong with that for this type of album and style. I think the guitar and bass work together as a whole just sounds really solid. The solos, more likely than anything, are amazing too. When it comes to the drums, there is a drum machine being used here. Some drum programming, it sounds like. But for this kind of style of black metal, I think it's incredibly well suited, and I think it's played and patterned out very nicely. The drum work definitely has its moments to shine, and it definitely keeps the listener interested and wanting to hear more and more as the album goes along. Of course, some of these songs range from around 9 to over 15 minutes in length, and I think the pace of this album definitely moves along very gingerly and patiently. And going back to what I said, for every long song, there is somewhat of a solid payoff to be found here. Of course, I would have liked to have heard actual drums, but for whatever works for them, I think it sounds great. I enjoy it a lot. Now we get to the two main aspects of this record that definitely make Echoes of Battle stand out for me. And one of those things is the keys and the symphonics. The use of the keys and the symphonics on this album definitely bring out the best of this album's storytelling aspects. I really enjoy the way that the keys are being used here. You hear some awesome pianos. You do hear some other instances of folk variations, like you hear some horns, some trumpets. Just a really nice section of instrumentation to be heard here. I kind of almost feel a Lord Wind type of vibe going on with the keys. A little bit of that folky ambient type of edge going on there. I think it's really damn cool, and it definitely makes this album's story that much more engrossing and captivating. And now we get to the vocals. When it comes to the black metal vocals, they are really good. I enjoy this guy's growling style. It isn't overpowering, but yet he definitely commands your attention with the way he delivers his rasps and screams. I think it's awesome. But the thing that really will win the listener over, in my opinion, is the singing. The singing on this album is just so beautiful. I love the harmonies. I just love the epic, triumphant feeling in his voice. It's just so beautiful. Like going to the title track and To Walk the Ashes of Dead Empires. You hear some beautiful vocal harmonies and vocal singing going on. It's just so amazing and beautiful. Even to the closing track, Book of the Fallen. It's an almost 15-minute long song here. The clean singing on that particular track is just so mesmerizing and captivating. I really enjoyed the singing of this album, and that is the one aspect of this album that definitely wins me over and definitely is the turning point for me of Echoes of Battle. Beautiful singing. Some of the most beautiful singing I've heard all year. So overall, do I think this band is worth the hype? I definitely say they are. It kind of bugs me a little that when it comes to finding out about Caladan Brood, I've only seen it through YouTube reviews. I mean, no offense or disrespect to my friends who do the YouTube review thing, but honestly, I think this band deserves a lot more exposure than just YouTube reviews. I think this band deserves to be put in magazines, definitely heard through different forms of press. This band deserves far more exposure than what they're getting. I know this band has a really solid fan base and very dedicated fans who want to know more and get to hear what this band has to offer. I think this is a really awesome album. Do I think it's one of the best albums of this year, though? I'm not too particularly sure. But maybe in time this album will see some growth, and you never know what'll happen. I think this is a great album. It definitely deserves to be heard, and if you're a fan of black metal or epic black metal that has so much storytelling to have, like if you're into Summoning, if you're into Isengard, if you're into Lord Wind or Falkenbach, maybe even Nocturnal Mortem to an extent, you probably will enjoy Caladan Brood a lot. This band is worth the hype and then some. So I'm going to leave you some links in the description box to the Caladan Brood Bandcamp, where you can stream this album in its entirety, hear it for yourself, be your own judge, buy it digitally if you want to. I'll also leave you a link to their store where you can buy it directly from them. This is available in a jewel case. You can buy it directly from them. Buy it overseas if you happen to live in Europe or anywhere outside of America. Hell's Headbangers, Ominous Domain, CM Distro carry this album. Get it on vinyl if you want, if you happen to have an A5 Digipack. I know this album is available in many different formats, so any format is great to listen to this album. It's definitely worth the hype, I think. So I'm going to show you the album again. This is Echoes of Battle by Caladan Brood. This is released on Northern Silence Productions. Check this out, and I'm going to give this a solid 8.5 out of 10. Great piece of really well put together black metal, and hopefully more great things will be soon to come from Caladan Brood. So I'm going to conclude this review. Thanks all for watching. Thanks for checking out my channel. And until the next time, Army Hell out.